Hi there. This is Wine and Wisdom. I'm your host, E. Matt Kane, and this week I'm joined by a new guest, a beautiful guest, and hopefully a wise guest, and hopefully I can say her name right. Her name is Treasure. Yes, you heard me right. Treasure Tvaroch.
Yes, that's
like
correct.
Bitch.
Yeah.
How are you, Treasure?
Good.
Yeah?
You want to know the story behind my name?
I would love to know it. Yeah, lay it on me. I'm gonna get up and grab my other phone. You can.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're live, folks. We're live, pal. Go ahead.
Well, my mom had uterine cancer, and they took out a portion of her uterus, and they said that she wouldn't be able to have any children. And then, well, she had me.
Oh my God.
And they said that I would die or come out messed up, which I am messed up, but not that messed up.
Holy shit.
So. Don't believe the doctors when they say abort your baby, I guess. I don't know.
Here I am, like, getting ready to tell jokes and, like, be goofy, and then wham! We get hit with a serious hammer right out the gate.
Yep.
So you're her treasure.
Wow, and then that's the other thing. She passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, not then, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago?
15 years ago. I was 11.
Wow.
Yeah, this is about to be depressing.
Well, that was a good episode. It was nice. Nice seeing you. Well, we can get into that in a minute. I don't even know where to go. Well, anyways, this is Wine and Wisdom. The crux of the show is it's all about talking to people and learning from them, right? And basically what it means is, how can we both grow? How can we both become more conscious, more wise, more aware, and just become a better version of ourselves and learn, life lessons from each other? That's really the premise of the show, and obviously to drink wine, of which I'm going to be the only one drinking today.
Yep, I drank a little bit too much yesterday.
Somebody went overboard a little bit, but that's okay. I've had lots of guests on here that don't drink, and that's okay. You don't have to drink. I'm not going to open up, force it down your throat. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, tell a friend, leave a review. Follow us wherever you're listening to this: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the like. Cool. So without further ado, I guess I'll pour the wine. It's some old bullshit, oak leaf, nothing crazy, nothing too sexy. But I ask every guest this, because I do this like really gently, the ASMR.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Oh, well, you are.
It's calming.
We're just going a little bit here. It's a work night. You're into the ASMR?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the calming,
weirdo,
not the erotic one, but like the
no.
Oh, okay. Okay, some people, hey, whatever. Like, which ones do you like?
Like the, stuff like that.
The nails on the...
Yeah.
Ooh. What about the...
crunching.
Yeah, like bubble wrap?
Yeah.
Popping a bubble wrap? Yeah.
People whispering.
What about chewing?
Nah.
I will say this. I remember when I was, in middle school, in keyboarding class, there'd be, the typing, and it was, really calming for me.
Yeah. I could see that.
It was just, ambient noise, kind of like how my air conditioner's on right now, and I forgot to turn it off. That's cool. But yeah, that was I could just kind of chill and relax. But other noises, like people chewing, other ASMR stuff, I don't know, what's your favorite sound?
I don't really, I just like the tapping.
Yeah.
And then just when people whisper, I don't know.
Does it just like that? Does it even have to be? Does it have to be words or just the sound
just
of whispers?
Sound of, yeah.
And I don't mean to go too deep on ASMR. It's just I don't think I've had anybody on
that actually
was like.
Yeah,
ooh.
I put it on at night and I'll go to.
And you go to sleep to that?
I'll put a timer on my TV and I'll just go to sleep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some weird ones. I'm not into those, but.
Yeah, I'm sure there's science behind brain science.
Oh yeah.
Behind
I've read about it.
What those sounds do to arouse you or calm you or whatever, But Speaking of brains and shit, tell me about yourself. Who the hell is Treasure? Tell all our wonderful, beautiful, because we only have beautiful listeners and wise listeners. Tell them who the hell Treasure is.
So, besides someone who's hungover right now, I would describe. I guess I can use descriptive words because it's kind of a hard question to answer. But
yeah, this is always one of those. Sorry, to cut you up, but this is one of those questions. It's like I throw at people just to see how they chew it.
Yeah.
Just to see like how many bites they're gonna take. Are they gonna reject the meal? Or are they gonna like devour?
Right. Yeah.
Have at it. All right.
All right. I don't know. I'm very caring and loving. Due to some things in my past, I feel like I'm empathetic and I'm very helpful. I like to help people. Goofy and weird and dumb sometimes, but you know.
Yeah.
We all have something about us. So.
We do. We're all unique. I remember a stand-up comedian. I can't remember who it was, but I remember his joke was he was talking about like how people are different. He goes, "God has quite the paintbrush." You know, like, I just felt like when he was painting me, it was like outside the lines, like whatever. What do you do for a living?
I'm a case manager at a mental health rehabilitation center, Coleman Professional Services.
Shout outs to Coleman.
Yeah, they help a lot of people.
Is anybody going to be watching from?
Possibly.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah,
cool.
Possibly.
So, you're a case manager, is that what you said? At a mental health rehabilitation center. All right, yeah. Listen, I'm slow. And what did you study at wonderful Kent State University? Go Flashes. What did you
psychology.
study? Psychology.
Yep.
Mm.
I wanted to be an actress, and then my mom took me somewhere else. Yeah.
We got to talk about that. That's interesting. Why psychology?
Just because I just am naturally a caring person, and then, like I said, my mom passed away when I was younger, and a couple other things had happened to me, and just I always like whenever I see people in pain, like I immediately just don't want to see them in pain anymore. I want to help them and show them that they can still live a good life even though they've gone through a whole bunch of crap.
Yeah, your heart bleeds for
Mm-hmm.
them. Yeah, I understand that myself too, because like that's one of the reasons that believe it or not, folks, this podcast isn't my profession. I know, it's hard to believe. You can tell with the wonderful, expensive studio setup we got going on here. But what I do, I help people. I like helping people. It's something that, it's like arguably the most fulfilling thing a human can do is help relieve suffering from another human being.
Yeah.
So I help people via, teaching them martial arts.
Drink my water.
Yes. Hey, cheers. Cheers to that, because we need a thumbnail.
And then I'm choking on it.
Right here. Okay. So no, I teach martial arts, self-defense, and and that's very empowering.
Yeah.
And that's where we met. You took my class, and you're like, man, this guy's an idiot. I need to help him. Like.
Nah.
But no. So I feel that. I feel how like using talents that you have to help others is really like an ultimate expression of humanity to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people might define it as like, making money, getting rich, getting famous, whatever. To me, it's like, what kind of legacy what kind of legacy are you gonna leave? Are people like, damn, he made a lot of money in his life?
Right.
Man, he had 13 Mercedes.
Yeah.
Or they
it's
gonna
not
be like,
important.
man, he was such a great guy. Like he helped so many people. That's all I give a shit about in my life. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I could care less.
Right.
Like honestly, even like I love you, Mom. I don't give a shit what you think of. Like it's a very liberating thing when you like just don't give a shit what others think of you. Because they're going to think about things. It's interesting. People are going to have, like, what is it? 50% of people won't like you right off the bat. Right. And you could be amazing. You could literally cure their cancer, and they'd be like, fuck you.
Yep, you can't please
So what's interesting is, like, when you let go of that shit and you understand everybody has a projection in their mind of who you are, whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Unless you buy into it, like, you know, unless you're like, oh man, what he thinks of me is, you know. So letting go of that bullshit is very liberating. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying is like, that's all I care about is like, did I help somebody? Did I make them kind? You know, was I kind to them? What was the quote? I can't even remember who said it, but it's something in the effect of like, doesn't matter how rich you are, how famous you are, how you treat people ultimately says everything I need to know about you. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you treat people wonderfully at your job.
I mean, I try.
You
There's
try to.
hard days, of course.
I'm sure you deal with a whole spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of I want to mental health issues do you treat?
Personally, like we all have our different caseloads. But
do you guys specialize in certain things?
There's certain people, yeah. But I mean, it's an array of things. Personally, like on my caseload, I have a lot of people who have suffered with like depression, anxiety, PTSD. Just some people have schizophrenia, and you know, and then there's just some people on there that just need support, and that's the saddest part. None of these people's families care.
Yeah.
And really, to get anywhere, like to work on yourself, you need support, in my opinion. So, if you don't have that, then you're probably gonna continue down the bad path that you're on, and you know, I feel support is important.
Do you specialize in any? Do you help all kinds?
I mean, they know my situation, so like, or my boss knows my situation, so he'll try to give me people who've lost people.
Okay, that's what you mean by situation.
Yeah.
So you can. You can have more compassion and empathy because you've been through that battle.
Yeah, and they respect, like the clients respect me more, and they're not, like a lot of them won't even talk to their counselors because like, I don't know, they just won't. They're more open with their case managers. And
so what's, pardon my extreme ignorance, but what's like the big difference between a case manager and the counselor?
So the counselor just does like, literally like, they'll work with behavioral stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And then case managers will basically, like I always make the joke, like I'm their support animal because like they take me along everywhere they go, like grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, court. It literally can be anything. If they need help doing their laundry, like going out in public in general, so being helped in like certain social situations.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a weird job to describe.
But it seems that you enjoy it.
Yeah, oh yeah. I love helping people, and
it's the best.
I'm glad that I found myself there. So.
Yeah. What's interesting too, like when you help people is, especially like what you do, like the feedback isn't instantaneous. Mm-hmm. It won't be like, like sometimes in my situation, like I'll teach somebody a move and it's like, wow, whatever, like it's kind of instantaneous, but really in like a meta sense, it's down the line. Like you notice like, it might be 6 months. They say, man, like since I've been doing this thing with you, I feel this. Like I feel more confident. I less anxiety, etc. That's such a great feeling. When you know you helped somebody out. Like I said, it's arguably, the most rewarding thing you can do. I think the Dalai Lama said, your goal in life is to find, and I'm paraphrasing really badly, but he said, the goal in life is to find what you love, what you're good at, and use your talents to help people. When you've done that, you have found the meaning of life. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's exactly what it's all about. Like I said before, that's what I define as success. Success to me is doing what you love and helping people. Yep. It's not, I like some people, it might just be doing what you love. That's cool. But I also feel like we're all on this planet for a reason to help each other grow. Like to get freed, liberated, however you want to call it. Or help end each other's suffering, not contribute to it.
Right.
So, yeah, the fact that you're doing that, I think, is awesome, and it's clearly very rewarding. No matter, like, obviously we all feel like we can make more money. Like, we get everybody feels like they're overworked, underpaid.
I personally hate that they even charge people for the services.
That was my next question. Is is that come out of like, is this private? Is it state funded? How does that work?
I think
does like the Medicaid, Medicare cover?
Yeah. Okay. Medicaid. If you have Medicaid, like, it's just great, but a lot of the time, some of them are paying out of pocket.
Yeah, let's not even get into like the whole healthcare thing because like I will throttle somebody. No, but yeah, so that's like such a beautiful thing. So have you had a fascination with the mind and mental health?
Yeah, definitely. I just personally want to know like what makes somebody who they are, like whether it be like something that happened in their past or just they've decided to take their route, and just I'm curious why they are the way they are, why people are the way they are.
Then it can get into the nature nurture argument.
Yeah.
Which I find fascinating. I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. Like, do you think how much of it? And I don't know. Pardon, ignorance, but think like somebody like Jeffrey Dahmer, right?
Yeah.
How much of that was nature nurture? Like, was he, again, I haven't done my research. I haven't seen any of the movies, documentaries. I just know he ate people. But how much of that was nature nurture? Like, what did he have, a traumatic childhood? Was he abused? Which just tends to, create a lot of these cases. But I also feel like a kid could have the most perfect home life ever, and he still is in the backyard torturing animals and goes on to be a serial killer.
I mean, I don't know, our brains are very powerful
so it's interesting, but obviously there are significant factors that can contribute to whether a child is going to, become such and such. So it's interesting how much of it is the environment and how much of it is just genetics. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, like you can use, and I say a lot is, taking something that happens in your life and you can either make you better or bitter, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we all have moments of bitterness where it's like, man, fuck this. Why did this get handed to me? Like something traumatic, like losing a parent. Something traumatic, like losing a best friend. Whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's like the worst day of your life. It's horrible. It's like you wouldn't want it on your worst enemy.
No.
But you also, once you've like grieved openly and honestly, you can then almost step back and look at it as how much of a gift it was for you.
Yeah, I definitely take it more like in the way of I'm stronger because of that, and I can help people now and understand them and relate and all that fun stuff.
I mean, look at Batman.
Yeah.
He lost his parents and he's fighting crime. But anyways, no. That's I appreciate you opening up and sharing, something like that. I don't think I knew that, did I? I don't know if you told me. Maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Our relationship goes back a few years, so there could be some things you told. Like my memory is literally like. You know what they say about goldfish? They forget like after 2 seconds. I'm probably less than that. I remember certain things very well, but a lot of things it's just like. It just oozes out of my brain. I'm
becoming more like
so I apologize anybody out there if I forgot like your birthday or, like I forgot like a detail in your life. I'm sorry. It is not from it's not from a bad place, okay? But so the mind is there's still so much we don't know about the mind and obviously mental health, and I like jumping in because mental health is it's everything. Like in Buddhism they talk about like your mind is your reality. Mm-hmm. Right? Everything you experience is via your mind. But I feel like there's also different planes of reality, but we don't have to get like super like meta and shit. but I feel like if more people did the hard work like you've done and are helping people do, that if they did the hard intrinsic work and the self-reflection and the work on their mind, on themselves, reflecting in their spirit, etc., that their life would be more peaceful, less violent, less less anxiety, less stress. But that's hard, like to look at yourself and shine that flashlight in the dark corners, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's doing that work is it's scary because you might not like what you find, but
well, it's the only way you can change.
It's the only way you have to examine those corners and do that work. So I feel like if more people did that, if they examine themselves, did that work, whether they go to therapy or not, or find something that aids them in exploring their mind,
right,
and helping just process all that shit that goes on in your mind.
Right. Well, and if they go ahead. Go ahead.
No. All I was gonna say is that would be like I feel like we'd have less violent manifestations in life, and the world would be. This sounds so like pie in the sky, but the world would be a better place.
Right. Well, I was just gonna say, like, if people know that they have things they need to work on, I mean, they should assume that others are also probably in the same boat and are also trying to work on things, and just everyone needs to go a little easy on each other.
I completely agree, but that also takes a tremendous amount of
it'll probably never happen.
Well, it takes a lot of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And a lot of compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy to me is king.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I think that's the best quality in a human being is, what's your heart like?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
I've met some really beautiful people on the outside, and inside it is like, they look like Gollum. But anyways, yeah, I completely agree that we all need to fucking do that work.
Yep.
Going to therapy, getting help. Not even therapy. People say, like, go to therapy. That's just a method. Like,
right.
That's a
you don't
thing.
have to go to therapy.
Does it help? I think it would be great.
Things.
Yeah.
Right.
But that self-exploration, I think, is very important. Especially, listen up, men, especially guys, right? Because we think, if you go to therapy, what's that mean?
You're weak.
You're weak. And remember, culturally, we're men. We got to be strong. We can't show any weakness. We can't show any emotion. Like, that's such utter bullshit.
Yeah, we're human. All doesn't matter.
Like, what it means to be a human is you experience the whole spectrum, the whole palette of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Joy, sadness,
yep.
right? Happiness, anger, like everything. And it's okay to experience those. Like, you shouldn't repress anything. If you repress anything in your life, it's going to cost you. Doesn't mean you cling to those emotions. When you're sad, it's not like, oh my God, my whole world is sad.
Right.
No, you let it come through like a cloud in the sky, you digest it, and you let it pass, and then you move on.
Mm-hmm.
I think if culturally we allowed men to fully feel and inhabit those feelings and those emotions, that men would be a little bit nicer to each other, to everybody.
Right.
They'd be less abusive to each other, to their spouse, there'd be less dicks out there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Less assholes. Not just men.
I mean, women.
Everybody.
Every
fucking
like
buddy.
that too.
But I'm coming from the male duality or male polarity of like that's, I've seen it firsthand, like how many guys need to work on that shit.
Right. I mean, you don't have to go overboard and just express yourself to the max, but express yourself enough to know, let people know how you're feeling in there.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, you should communicate your feelings.
Definitely.
You should have it. We should have more intelligent, conscious conversations about our mental health, about our spiritual health, about like our emotional health. Right. I feel like emotional intelligence to me is way more important than intelligence. EQ is more important than IQ. Yeah. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. So if we created societally a more open platform for us to do that, it'd be better. But we're men, we gotta be macho. Like, fuck that shit. Fuck that noise. So anyways, mental health, baby. Tell me, so you wanted to be an actress. I'm really interested.
I did,
I'm really interested now. Let me take a sip. Tell me, Dad.
I mean, I don't know. I was just goofy kid growing up, and my mom kind of, she's just like, you're the best at everything. You're the most beautiful. Like all this
you're
stuff.
the treasure.
And, yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
She always wanted me to have what she didn't have because she grew up in a bad home life. Her mom was abusive towards her and all that fun stuff. But I don't know, she kind of just like put that in my mind to like be the best and like achieve anything. You know, I could achieve anything, and I'm weird and goofy, and just, I know it doesn't seem like that all the time, but once I'm like really used to you being around, I kind of
you can open up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like also, how can I say it? I don't know. Trying to be something that I'm not is cool. Seeing like what it would be like to do whatever, you know, whatever the part is.
Yeah.
And just I've always been
right
into that. So.
Well, reason I mention that is I find it, number one, it's fascinating. Number two, like I think I've told you this, that I've dabbled in acting a little bit here and there. It's not, I don't know if I would, at this point in my life, classify myself as, I'm a thespian in acting. Like, I enjoy the craft, the art of acting.
Yeah.
And I respect it immensely. And I've actually been acting since I was 10 years old.
Oh, that's cool.
I tried out for the after-school drama club. And not to brag, but I got the lead in both plays. But, because I like you said, being goofy and outgoing, like I've always looked as like the whole world as a stage. Even in Hinduism, they talk about like you put on these masks and you play these roles, right?
Right.
So acting for me was just fun. It was like just a natural expression of what I already did. I would make, me and my buddies would make movies when we were like, 10, 11, 12 and shit. There's still they'll never see the light of day. Oh my God. But we would dress up and we'd make little movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed that, and I did it for, quite a while. I did some stage stuff, and then I stopped when I got into college. After I graduated college, I started doing like indie film and stuff, very small roles and whatnot. And there's the Kane Action Team. This is the Kane Action Team YouTube channel. We're a stunt team, a fight choreography, action design team for film, which marries my other passion, being martial arts. So putting those together, film, martial arts, into that. So I find it interesting that you mentioned that, wanting to be an actress. I think it was Brad Pitt. Yeah, I'm going to quote Brad Pitt. He said, he liked acting because it allowed him to enter into a portal. It was like a portal entering into a world that he could never enter into. Think about it. Like, he could be Achilles in one moment, then a detective investigating, serial killings. Which is fucking cool. Like, being able to dress up and, like, act like somebody you're not. And really, like, acting is, it's conveying emotion and truth in scenes that are false, like fake. Like, you're not that's not actually real, that happening right now.
Right.
But how do you, I think it was Meisner said, it's acting truthfully in imaginary circumstances. Mm-hmm. So being able to show that it's fun. It's fun. So where I'm at in my life is like I act, I dabble a little bit, a few projects here and there, and then make my own films. No, not the kind you're thinking. Go to kaneactionteam.com and you'll see all about it. But so do you have any ambitions to act now?
I mean, ironically, there's a woman that I work with. She's one of the nurses, and she does like some films.
Oh yeah?
I've talked to her about maybe getting
Is she
into that.
in this area?
I don't know. I can't remember where.
Are you allowed to say her name?
Her name's Holly Shue.
I don't know. Holly Shue, if you're watching.
But
okay, that's
I would like to. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to do. And then I've had people, because I used to go to Broadway plays all the time and, watch them and kind of talk to the people, about how they got involved and whatnot. And then people are like, it's too competitive.
It's very. Yeah. And here's the thing, it's very competitive. And you have, for every, Margot Robbie or Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Aniston, George Clooney, there are thousands that are still working as a waiter trying to make it.
Right.
Which is tough. And that's why because I was kind of at a crossroads in my life when I was a little younger and a little less gray, where it was like, hey, I thought about going out. Maybe I'll tell this on another podcast, where I was almost on the TV show Survivor. I was out in LA for a week, and I was really close to actually moving out there, and then some things happened in my life, and I'm where I'm at now. Perfect. This is where I should be. But I was like, man, do I like want to live this life, this hustle? It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And I got friends that live out in LA and stuff. And I think, you know, when obviously who knows where my life goes, but as things shift and form, I feel like there'll be times I might go out to LA, work on some projects, or even Atlanta, which is a burgeoning, you know, film market. But who knows? I'm just gonna go where I'm like being fed, where I am called, if that even makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
But so you know, I think you know, maybe we'll talk after. I got some connections if you really are interested in getting into.
And my cousin lives in Georgia, and she's always like, "Come down, they're shooting a film." So
there's lots of shit going on in hot Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. And at the end of the day, and I've taught people this, like I've been on film sets where people just get like really heated and shit, and I'm like, listen, we're wearing like, look, we see this? We're wearing like costumes and we're acting like we're beating each other up, you know? We're you know, it's like we're not curing cancer, we're not, you know, like we're not healing sick children. Like let's back it up a little. Like doesn't mean we're not gonna take this shit seriously.
Right.
We should create the best product, but like let's put it in perspective a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
I
People take it too far.
They do. Do you follow currently, like, do you have any like spiritual practice, any religious practice that you adhere to?
Well, my mom was a janitor at a church. I was raised Christian, but I don't know. I kind of like go back and forth between like I'm a Christian or like I'm agnostic. Yeah. So.
I thought you were gonna say I'm Christian or I worship the devil. Like I don't know.
Sometimes.
I'm in the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey. Like you know.
But yeah, no, I'm not really like on the days that I'm feeling like, cause I don't know, like it's gonna sound maybe weird, but like since my mom is gone, I would like to hope that heaven is a thing and you know you can go and see your loved ones again. Right. So like. I think that's when I lean more towards the Christian side because I'm like I was raised that way. I want to believe that that's actually real and you know all that. But then you know I don't go to church. I don't really like I'm not into it like a lot of people are. So then I'm just like, well, I mean we really don't know. It could be nothing. Could be something other than what we've been taught or whatever. But that's why I say I'm kind of agnostic more than anything.
We could jump down into 10 million rabbit holes on the subject of spirituality and religion. Just go back to other podcasts and other episodes, and you know. But I find it interesting because like, you know, everybody, whether you have a spiritual practice or not, that you say you have one. Yeah. You have one, like whether, and you don't have to call it religious or whatever. But remember, like. It's basically how are you connecting with something that's greater than you? Yeah. Whatever you define that as. Yeah. Jesus, God, Muhammad, Allah, pizza, I don't know. You know what I mean? You're like, so, yeah, the problem, and again, a lot of, I think, issues that stem in our culture come from just being like, well, this is how our culture is. It's a Christian, you know, culture. It's like, do you have any idea how many other religions there are in this world? How other spiritual practices?
Right,
like, what makes this one better than the other? Right?
Right. I don't know, I just think people should, regardless of what is telling them to do what, you just, like, treat people with kindness and, you know, do good for yourself and others. Well, I don't need religion telling me to do that, to do it.
I look at it like this, is they're all methods. I mean, who's to say your method is truer than mine? I mean, that's faith, right? Right. But who's to say that it's better, that it's true? Like, I look at it as like, it's a vote. It's a boat, a vehicle, like to get you from one shore to the other. Mm-hmm. Some boats may be different. Some boats may be bigger, smaller. But who am I to judge your boat? Right. Right? If it's different than mine. Maybe I got a couple other people in my boat with me. Maybe you have, you know? Mm-hmm. So... But the problem is people get confused. They think they confuse the boat with the shore, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I know it's a little meta and deep, but that's the problem. So, like you said, it doesn't matter what spiritual practice you have, as long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as it's not a destructive cult, right? Right? It shouldn't matter. As long as the people that are in your spiritual practice have free will, volition, that they can leave and go, and do what they must. And, I feel like, because I've said this on the podcast, like I've gone through basically every spectrum religiously. Started out kind of at really nothing. And then when I went to Catholic school for 3 years.
Oh boy.
And, I got beat by nuns. I think I mentioned that on an episode. Fuck, man. Cracked me in the head. But then, like, non-denominational Christian, like rock Jesus, that kind of scene. That was fun for a little bit, and then when I got into college, it was more like Buddhism, then more Hinduism, and now it's just like, you ever see on like, when people, whether it's on dating apps or they'll be like, I'm spiritual. Like, yeah. I guess that's what I define myself as. I don't even know. I just like, I use like religion and methods and spiritual practice. I use them up until I feel like, oh, okay. Like, I'm done.
Got what you wanted.
I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. That's what a spiritual practice should do, is like, it should when you're done with it, it should self-destruct.
Yeah.
Like, if you have no need for it anymore, okay.
Right.
Like, it should be okay. Go on to something else. Go study, Zen Buddhism in a monastery for a while and see how that treats you. And then go on to something else. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Because here's what it is. On the other side, do you know what it's like? I don't.
Nope.
Nobody can say, yes, I came back and this is what it is. There are charlatans that will say that, though. They'll try to sell their books, peddle their wares. Like, yeah, listen. I don't remember. You remember there was a story a few years ago where this kid, like, he went to heaven and came back.
Yeah.
And then they said it was like
heaven
bullshit.
Is for real.
Yeah, then they turned out to be like bullshit. They made it up and shit.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know.
But we don't know. The point is, y'all, we don't know.
Right.
And we won't know until we're on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's not judge each other for what you're worshiping.
Right.
You should be free. Last time I checked, the country of the United States of America has freedom of religion. There is no official religion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, we're a Christian nation. Like,
right.
so when people say that shit, it's like, no. Just like we have no official language, no. Do what you want. Like, be you, do you. And again, as long as it's feeding your soul, right, and it gets you to the one God, whatever you want to define that, then that's it. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
If it's working for you,
That's it.
Do it.
So, yeah. So that's cool. That's interesting. God, we could talk about a lot of shit.
I'm an open book.
You're an open book. Well, I guess let's talk about, depends on how deep we want to get.
Right.
Let's see. And we're back. Yes, I'm sitting like this. I had to change a light. And I just want to make things awkward for my guests. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, how about this for a second? Let's talk about trauma. I mean, we all have it. And like we were talking about earlier, it's like the worst thing that could happen to you also becomes, it's hard to even word it like this, but it also becomes the best thing that happens. Yeah. I know, and I say it personally for me, all the traumatic experiences in my life, just the amount of growth that occurred.
Yeah.
Would I want to go through them again?
No.
Fuck no. But it's like you need it. It's like it tears through a veil on what you think life is like. Like before, think about it. What was life like before?
Pretty crappy.
Say before, something happened in something traumatic that happened.
It was alright. Yeah.
Like, then when that thing occurs, there's a tearing of the veil where you kind of step through and you look through and you're like, oh, life isn't really what I thought it was. It's not really like this. And when your heart breaks, it rips you open, but they can build you back up stronger, anew.
Yep.
So it's one of those things. It's such a duality. Suffering. Look at that. Do I look like I know what I'm doing now? I'm swirling my glass. It's such a duality of like, suffering is equally the worst thing that can happen to you, and it's equally the best.
Yep.
Being able to look up at the snowy peaks and see the beautiful snow, and then look down and see the blood on the snow at the same time, and have that consciousness of like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, you mentioned your mother passing. Obviously, at a young age,
If I was 11.
11 years. Oh.
Yep.
At such a young age. You have any siblings?
Well, here's a.
Okay, all right.
I do have 2 half brothers from my dad, but.
So you have a whole brother.
My dad's. But my dad is not in my life.
Okay.
He denies me. 3 paternity tests later. Still not his child. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, but I do have 2 half brothers. Well, one passed away, but.
Okay.
The only one that was talking to me at the time, he passed away.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. I thought he was ignoring me on Facebook, and I was like, wow. And then I found out he was.
Well, that's the thing. When somebody passes away on Facebook, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Their account's still there unless somebody has their information and can delete the account.
Right. But I just have all these messages like, why are you ignoring me? How dare you?
Did you feel like utter shit when?
Oh yeah. I was like, oh. Well,
yeah, but you didn't know. How can
right.
you can't be too hard on yourself. You don't know.
Right.
How'd your mother pass away?
She had a brain aneurysm. My grandma also had a brain aneurysm. So I always I'm wondering if I'm gonna be next kind of thing. So yeah. My mom had a ton of health issues.
Yeah.
So she had the uterine cancer,
right.
and she had lupus, and
man.
she had congestive heart failure, and then she had a brain aneurysm because she was always rushed to the hospital. I didn't think anything of it, to be honest, when they took her. So I was just like, oh.
You thought you'd see her again.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old was she?
44,
wow.
I think.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. Yeah. So, and then your dad just has nothing to do with you, huh?
Nope. And then when he found out my mom had passed away, his only question was if he had to pay child support still.
Wow.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to call him a turd?
Call him whatever you want.
I'm sure you've called him worse. So was he ever in your life?
He, I think, came over to see me when I was 1, and I threw up on him, so.
That should have been a sign right there.
Yeah, but that was, it was really just to come over and be like, hey, you gotta stay out of my life, and his wife is not really happy about the situation, understandably so. You know, so, but I think she made a deal with him, I would stay with you, or she would stay with him if he had no part in my life, so. And I recently tried to contact him, and that was a fail. So I might try one more time just because it's my life and I deserve to see my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But I'll just show up on his porch. Can't really ignore that. No, I'm just kidding.
So does he not even think you're his offspring?
Nope. Yeah. Nope. He probably has tons more too. He kind of got around.
He's kind of that guy. Huh?
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, that's.
So yeah.
So did you have any father figure?
Well, my mom got married before she passed away, so I have a stepdad, and I couldn't actually live with him when she passed away because he was working midnight. So I have guardians that took me in. My mom's best friend from her childhood and her husband took me in, and they've been really good people to me, and I couldn't thank them more.
Yeah,
so
that's great. That's beautiful. Well, that's one thing. Just because somebody is blood doesn't mean they're family.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you've listened to previous episodes, and I've had issues with my father growing up. Him being alcoholic and addicted to drugs. So it was so I can empathize with you, but he was in my life.
Yeah.
But it was more absent. But
yeah.
But so I can understand that to a certain extent, where you're coming from. But yeah, it's a hard thing to have, because when you're a kid, you want that approval, you want that love, you want that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking when somebody is unable to provide that for you.
Right. Yeah. Well, my mom definitely made up for it.
I was gonna say that was my next point.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I always say that she. I don't even know how. She kind of gave me an unrealistic sense of love because we only had each other, and I was her best friend, even though you're not supposed to be that close to your child.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times since she grew up in a bad household, she would just be crying on the couch, and I came up to her and like try to comfort her and all that. That's what our relationship was. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, your mom, what was her name?
Teresa.
Teresa? Mm-hmm. Sounded like a beautiful, beautiful person. To be, and I'm sure, you know, having to basically be the role of two parents.
Yeah, and I gave her hell. I was an evil child.
Yeah,
That's what I always say.
I'm sure.
I was terrible. Since, like I said, she was abused, so like she couldn't discipline me because she thought she was abusing me, and I was spoiled, and probably could have treated her better, and I regret it now. But like she knows like we're at peace with each other, I think. So
yeah, and I'm sure she's proud of you, like where you are. And
definitely.
It's amazing, and it makes sense now why you would want to like go into mental health and helping people, especially people with, you know, that have had trauma. Mm-hmm. You know, it's in one respect it is like I said, it's a superpower for you that happened to you, because now not only has it made you so much stronger, but now you see things through a different lens than others.
Yeah.
Right? Most people don't lose a parent.
Right.
Until
later on.
Way later on in life.
Yeah.
So having that happen to you, not only losing one, but only having one, is like even rarer of a case.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you know, obviously, you know, from what I know of you, I think you've turned out damn fine.
Yeah.
As a result of that, I think your mother did a great job, and I don't sell, and your guardians.
Yeah, they did a good job.
And don't sell yourself short on.
Right.
You know, because you could have gone down a different path.
Well, I was gonna say,
yeah, go ahead.
My mom, she tried her best, but like since she was so caught up in her own problem, she really just kind of sat me in front of a TV and like used it as a babysitter, and like education wasn't important. Just literally, she tried her best. I don't want to make her sound bad, but like she definitely taught me to be caring. Like if I got anything from her, I'm caring. She always was taking in stray animals and just teaching me to have respect for others. So, but then, you know, moving in with, I call my guardians my aunt and uncle, by the way. Moving in with my aunt and uncle, just, they never wanted kids, so it was kind of like a surprise. Like, you agreed to this, it actually happened. Because my mom would actually like say, oh, I'm gonna die, you're gonna live with these people, like all the time. She would just say that stuff all the time. And so then it actually became reality. I was like, oh shit. So they whipped me into shape because I was spoiled and just had a mind of my own. And so, and my uncle is a teacher, or was a teacher, he retired. So, you know, education was now important, and, you know, all that fun stuff. So I'm better. I'm better because I went with them. I don't want to be like, my mom's death was like, you know, great, and I'm better because of that. But like, I really had down a bad path. Like, my mom had like different men over all the time, and there were some drugs involved, and just I was learning the wrong things at a young age. So.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask. Is then how, you know, because of that and having an absent father, how did that affect your relationship with other people, especially like with men? Since she had those men over all the time, they were kind of weird towards me, and, you know, they're in the self-defense class. Whenever you're like, imagine somebody, I got somebody in there. Sure. She had one guy who was over all the time, and he would touch me and just a whole bunch of stuff. So, I kind of realized like she would get like weed from him. So she, like, let it happen. So he was grooming me, as they would say. Yeah. Yeah, so that all happened. So, like, I mean, I kind of am weirded out sometimes around men. But, like, I know they're not all like that. And, you know, be observant. You know, be aware of who you're around and stuff like that. So, I don't know if that's where you were going, but that's where I went. Yeah, it's hard. You know, you want to paint a very broad stroke when you have experiences like that. You want to paint a very broad stroke of like, well, all men are like this, right?
Right.
But obviously that's not the case.
Right. Correct.
But
Not
there are
all men are like
but
that.
there are enough. There are enough out there that that's sad, that and you know, to be able to take advantage of somebody, especially like a child.
Right.
Like you have to be a certain kind of. I just how like it's when I hear like when you told me that, my blood boiled. Like two things: I wanted to like immediately cry and explode, and I don't know the guy, but I wanted to kill him. And you know, anybody that abuses kids, women, shit, even throw in the elderly, like, to me, you're the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
You are not even a human being.
Right.
And that's part of like the motivation for me, like of why I do what I do, because I teach. Most of my students are, as you know, are female. Mm-hmm. So to help them empower themselves, and I teach a lot of kids too. So to help empower them to not be a victim,
Right.
and stand up for themselves, and to understand though too that even if something did happen to you, it doesn't define you.
Right.
Doesn't mean you deny it as it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there was some repression, possibly some repression there. I mean, but you use it just like anything. Whatever comes down the pike, you use to help you grow.
Yeah.
But you can't let it define you and eat you up. And my heart, that, it's horrible what having that happen to you.
Right. But I mean, I'm resilient.
But that's where it was leading to, is like, but clearly you've used it, and you've done the work to overcome it. And I'm
still working on things.
Listen, you're gonna do that till the day you die.
Right.
Like, there
exactly.
are still so many hang-ups and issues I have.
If you've learned everything while you living,
Exactly.
So.
Well, that's like you would die at, you'd be like, oh, that's it. Like, I figured it out. Like, I don't know. To me, like when I hear, this is gonna sound really morbid, but like when a kid that dies, like obviously, is there any any rational explanation for like a child dying of cancer? Like,
right.
But part of me is like, well, that kid was just like a great like they did everything they needed to. They got in this lifetime. They got free. Like they didn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way I justify it. Obviously, it's whatever. Like you can come up with any explanation you want.
Yeah.
But you just don't know, and you have to be okay with not knowing. But so you're always going to be working on yourself. But my point is, like, and I'm not trying to shower you with so much praise, Treasure, but you've done a fucking great job. Like, I think you've come a long way in dealing with everything you've done. Like, think about this. Think about, like, how many people you probably know, work with, and how many people you see in your daily life that had some, similar things happen to them, and look where they're at. Not to like throw a comparison in there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, those experiences have disrupted their life and have, like, because of what's gone on, their behavior's manifesting in a different way.
Right.
A self-destructive way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So my point is, like, you obviously have done a great job of do that.
I mean, people come up to me and they're like, we would have never thought that you've been through all that. And I mean, and I'm glad. I don't want people to, I mean, like, I'll share my story, but, like, I don't want people like, oh, that girl's mom died, or, or whatever. So, so.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known for that. But I want to be known for, like, the whole, like, I'm stronger now, I can help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also important to, like, tell your story, because it's who you are.
Right.
Again, like, those things don't have to define you, but they also help shape and mold you, and But yeah, you're right. Like, if somebody didn't know, they wouldn't. And that's the other thing too. You never know what somebody's gone through.
Right.
So watch when you make these fucking judgments about people that you have no idea what they're going through. Like, Plato said, be careful be kind. I think it's be kind to everyone you meet, for they're fighting a battle you know nothing about.
And that's very true.
So try to bring it full circle. Try to bring empathy and compassion instead of judgment first. Doesn't mean you let people walk all over you.
Right, exactly.
That's first. Damn sure. Like,
yeah.
I definitely, like, there's a shirt I wear, and I don't know if I even like it anymore. I might get rid of it. I don't know. I think I've outgrown it. But it's the quote is, "Don't mistake my kindness for weakness." Mm-hmm. I think kindness is the most attractive trait a human being can have. But just because you're kind doesn't mean you have to be weak.
Right.
Why is that? That's not a duality that needs to exist. Like, you can be kind and you can be strong. I think kindness is strength. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like you're obviously an inspiration probably to a lot of people that you're probably an inspiration now to everyone that's listened or watched this. I know you're an inspiration to me for that. So, and I appreciate you and thank you for opening up. It's not easy to do, You even though you say you're an open book, it's still hard. It's still hard to talk about things, like especially things that happen to you, like that. So, obviously, thank you for opening up in that regard, and sharing. But yeah, like, to me, you're absolutely an inspiration. So keep fucking shining, and doing your thing, and helping people, and being and I think most importantly, being a beautiful soul and being a beautiful person that, with a kind heart. Mm-hmm. Like I said, what you've gone through could blacken that heart, or it could make it brighter. So I think you've done a fantastic job. So, yeah. I don't even know if I want to spin the wheel, because that was kind of like, we can't even really top what we just talked about. So maybe we'll you're coming back, right? For another
definitely
episode.
Can, yeah.
You guys want her back, right? So yeah, you'll have to come back on another episode and we can have you spin the wheel and stuff. But yeah, if there's anything you want to talk about too, like, when we wrap up, I don't know. Okay. Actually, should I do a segment where you guys ask me something? At least no, because then it's like, listen, my name, I already put on social media, the Matt Kane. Like, I don't think my ego could get any fucking bigger.
Mine's the True Treasure.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. The true, you are the true treasure at the end of the rainbow. Oh, that's a pot of gold. Whatever.
Same.
Buried treasure. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's a funny joke to lighten the mood, I guess.
Yeah.
Or make it darker. I don't know.
Both.
But whenever I die, I want on my tombstone buried treasure lies.
I like that. That's good. You want to hear something morbid? This is gonna sound really fucked up. As I tell you about my family. So we were celebrating my niece's birthday. She's 12, going on 46, and she would tell me this story. She was in the city she lives in. There's like banners up that they put, I think, for Memorial Day. Mm-hmm. They put up banners of like fallen soldiers.
Oh yeah.
And listen, thank you all you men and women in the armed forces that have served and defended the freedom of this country. Thank you immensely. I'm not shitting on that at all. But let's have some humor. So she was in the car with her parents, and as they're driving down that street, the song came up. The song came on the radio. Dun dun dun. Another one bites the dust.
Oh no!
So so she started laughing as they were going by those while that song was going on.
That's funny.
Maybe
you have to
that'll tell you how fucked up.
Make jokes in this world, for real.
Humor. I've said humor is one of the we
have respect for those people, but you can also make jokes.
I call
lighten the mood.
I call it the cosmic giggle. When shit is too serious, being able to laugh at something just brings a levity.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we get caught so much in this reality of taking everything so serious and real, and then humor can snap you back into this place, a different state of consciousness, where you're like, oh, what was I doing? It's not that serious,
right?
So being able, it's almost like you become instantly this wise sage for a second when you can inject humor into kind of a serious situation, if that makes sense.
Right. So I don't know. People, I think, get too fed up in what society tells us how to be and do.
For sure.
I mean, I always think if you have respect for the people around you, you should be able to joke
Yeah.
Without anybody freaking out. And
I agree. As long as it depends on the intention.
Yeah,
if my intention is to hurt you, like,
right?
fuck that shit.
Yeah, of course.
But if it's to bring levity, like, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of us are too pussified and like too sensitive. Yes, you should be sensitive and
yeah, definitely,
and tolerant of everybody's feelings, beliefs, and all that shit. But let's have some fucking fun and levity, and not as long as the intentionality behind the act, gesture, whatever, isn't harmful.
Right.
Yeah.
Just have fun in life, man.
Have fun, and that's what we did. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought it was a good segue. Having fun. I think that's what we did. Listen, I'm surprised I didn't cry, man. You almost got me. You almost got me, Treasure. But no, I appreciate you coming on. You're welcome back anytime. We're gonna do it again. You can join.
Maybe I won't be hungover and more lively.
No, you can join the Two Timers Club, on the podcast. So I do feel.
Cool.
But no, thank you for coming on. Any place, if people want to find out more about you or anything.
Just most of my social media is the True Treasure. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Treasure. That's right. And I'm the Matt Kane. It's just right here. You see that? It's probably right there. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Thank you
Much
for
love
having
and respect and inspiration.
I thought we were gonna knuckle.
Oh, we can. Oh yeah, I don't want to leave you hanging. She's like. But no, much love and respect. Appreciate you coming on, and I grew. Hopefully, y'all grew. Hopefully, we got wiser. We learned a little bit about life and learned some lessons. All right, hug your loved ones, right? And
tell the people you love them that you love them.
Yep, that's right.
You never know.
And try not
to
happen. Exactly. You never know, and try not to take this shit too seriously. All right. All right. Much love and respect. I'm done swirling my glass. I need to stop doing it. Much love and respect to all of you. And we will see you next time on Wine and Wisdom. You're the best.